Hello, welcome back to the podcast and the juicy episode you've probably been waiting for. I've been waiting to sit down, to take some time out, consolidate my thoughts, go through my notes. I have my notebook here. And as we go through, I'm probably going to be referring to it a lot. And I don't even think I will be able to cover a quarter of it because there was so much, because this series is going to end up as a 45-part series. So I will try my best. I will do my best at explaining some of these concepts in ways that I understand, but some of them are pretty complex. So just bear with me, and we can definitely go deeper into certain areas if you would like a little bit more information on something that I shared today. And this is also going to be split into another episode. So next week there will be a part two sharing more about the how-tos and the impact of meditation and the present moment and the brainwave patterns in all of this. Whereas today it's going to be focusing generally on how to use your mind to heal your body, something that Dr. Joe Dispenza specializes in. If you haven't listened to last week's episode, which was a summary of the event that I went to, which was the progressive retreat by Dr. Joe Dispenza in Basel, Switzerland, at the end of February. It ran across into early March as well. It was amazing. I share some of my favorite resources from him too in that episode, but I wanted to just share my notes, share the wisdom, and pass some of it on to you if you don't get a chance to see him live. If you do, please go. You will be mind blown. It's pretty intense. At least I experienced that, and I share why in the last episode. But even if not, he has tons of resources online. His books are amazing. And I hope this podcast episode you find really valuable. So, as I said, this is all about the power of your mind, your intentions, your belief system, and how you can use all of those things to help you heal. Dr. Joe was someone who was a chiropractor, doctor of chiropractics, and then he got into a really bad accident and he used this work to heal himself. He was wheelchair bound, paralyzed, and he helped to regain his strength, and now he teaches on stage all over the world on some of this work. And then, as I said, next episode we'll talk more about meditation, etc. So I am just going to grab my notes, and we also were given this really cool chart which they were handing out at the end, and I almost didn't grab one because I thought it was just an advertisement for something. And it is talking about the week-long events on the back, but actually it's a really amazing graphic that talks about all of the things that we learned, but just in a really bite-sized little infographic. I showed this to my clients on my Telegram group, so apologies that you all can't get access to that. So this was in no particular order. I don't think. It was just my notes from the Friday evening. We were there a couple of hours, and then we moved into a full day on Saturday and a full day on Sunday. He shared a ton of real life healing stories, and some of them I didn't even think they would be possible. I know that the body is a self-healing machine, and I know it's capable of so much more than we could ever imagine. But even in my studies, I know that things like your liver can regenerate, your skin cells turn over, your gut lining is renewed every week. With things like the thyroid, though, I actually thought, and I was taught, that when the thyroid was damaged, it's damaged and you can't regrow it, if you can't regenerate it. Even things like bowel surgery, if you have parts of your bowel removed, I thought that you could maybe get some improvement and heal from the surgery and the autoimmune underlying imbalance, whatever was causing that. But he's actually had people regrow parts of the bowel. He has seen thyroid glands recover, and people with end stage cancers, neurological conditions all heal from this work. And I shared on my stories after the last episode, I recorded that and was just curious because if I had one question for Dr. Joe, it would be his thoughts on the physical health side of things, how important he believes nutrition is, and avoiding environmental toxins. And someone actually found a video for me that I don't know how long ago it's from. He might have changed his opinion now. And it is kind of what I thought he would say, and I agree with, that it can be important because you need certain nutrients for the body to work, but the emotional health and your stress levels and your mindset trump that massively. They are so much more important because you could be eating the best diet in the world. He jokes gluten-free, sugar-free, dairy-free, soy-free, literally everything free. And if you're eating in a state of stress, this is something that I've told my clients for years now because I lived it and I know the importance of your energy that you're coming to that meal from. So he acknowledges the health side of things, but his speciality is the mindset, the subconscious, the meditation, and healing on an energetic level. So, yeah, if you have a thyroid issue, if you're a client and I've ever said if it gets to a certain point, you're just not able to heal, turns out I'm probably wrong and your body can heal. And we're not even using a huge amount of our brain capacity. I think it's less than 1%. And what also the reality that we see through the 3D world is less than 1% of what is actually there, which I, my brain just hurts thinking of some of these things, but it is actually true. The main goal of our body is to, and our subconscious mind, is to stay consistent with the identity that we have for ourselves. And I've done a few episodes on this too. The power of your language I did recently, and a few years ago, the importance of the subconscious mind and incorporating that into your work. And it's because if you consciously want to heal, that's great. You're using that 5% of your brain that thinks, I want to heal, I want to be healthy, I want to go to the gym. But if the subconscious level, which is 95% that runs the show, if that has a belief in the I'm just not a gym goer. I'm always going to struggle with my health. I'm not worthy of health. I have bad genetics. I'm going to develop cancer like my family members did. That is what is going to be your reality because your subconscious overpowers and overrules the conscious mind always. And when you're trying to change, because your current reality now, even if you hate it, even if you want to live somewhere else or do something else or have a different state of health, this is still your comfort zone. This experience that you have now is still considered safe to your body. And any time you try to change, imagine it like a rubber band. You're stretching it, you're expanding it, and it will want to snap back into the smaller state. And then there comes a point where you stretch it so much, it kind of just stays as that new, bigger level. And then you stretch it again and you go to the next comfort zone. And it's very common that when you try to create new habits and think differently, your brain and your body will start to self-sabotage. Because, like I said, even if this current reality is a nightmare and you hate it, and your dream life is on the horizon, it still thinks that it's safe and it will do anything possible to keep you in your comfort zone. The unknown to the brain is very dangerous. If you think back in the day, unknown, we don't know what's around the corner, we don't know when the next meal is, and we might not have those struggles now, but it happens in other ways. And he was going through when he was first talking about meditation, he started to roll off some of the common thoughts that people have. And it was literally everything that I've ever thought. And I'm just thinking he's definitely reading my mind right now. He was saying, how long is this going to be? I thought he said this was a short meditation. I really need the toilet. What am I having for lunch? What time am I meeting my friend later? This is uncomfortable. My brain is too noisy. This is not happening for me. I'm not a good meditator. And that is a universal experience when you first get into it. And that is your brain noticing a change, noticing that you're switching things up and it's getting a little bit uncomfortable. So you know when that's happening that you're actually changing and growing. The healing journey isn't always going to be smooth sailing. There can be a lot of things and blocks that you have to work through, but on the other side, it is definitely worth it. He was talking a lot about limiting beliefs and how they can live within the subconscious, and sometimes we don't even recognize them because they are hidden, there are shadows, and they seem normal to us. They just seem like actual beliefs. We don't question them. We're just always thinking that that is just the truth. It's just matter of fact, and there's nothing that we can do about that. But a lot of them are actually limiting beliefs and not true at all. They've just been implanted into our brain, definitely under the age of 7 when our subconscious mind is forming. They can also develop, we can pick up limiting beliefs over the years. Sometimes from authority figures, we think that they know more than us, so we accept it as truth and don't question it when our doctor tells us something. And another time that we take on limiting beliefs is around times of big emotion. So when we're feeling vulnerable or when we go through a big stress or trauma, our brain is more vulnerable and susceptible to taking on limiting beliefs then. And limiting beliefs have honestly never served us. And we want to aim to get conscious of our thoughts. Awareness is the first step to change. And it can take practice, it can take consistency and time to shift these thoughts. But we need to start becoming the observer of them. A classic thing you might have heard of in the spirituality world or the meditation world is that we are the thinker of our thoughts. If you've ever had the experience in a meditation where we have these things come up, you're doing it wrong, you're a bad meditator, just cut it short, you have things to do, you could be using your morning way more wisely. You're aware of that, so that's not you. You are the thinker of your thoughts. You're the higher self above your thoughts, and that voice in your head is your ego, it's your subconscious, it's your body's protective mechanism to try and keep you in the same place. So that higher voice and that higher knowing is the real you. When you challenge it, it doesn't always feel good. It can feel uncomfortable, but that change shows, like I said, that you're growing and you're doing something that's no longer familiar and it's more of that unknown. And if I learn, one of the top things that I learned is for me being more comfortable with the unknown. Even when I've done meditations before, I've been meditating for years on and off, and it is a tool that I like. I've never been obsessed with it. I prefer to do things like visualization, EFT tapping, hypnosis, something that's more guided. But Dr. Joe's meditations, if you've ever done them, there's a lot of just being. There's a lot of nothingness. You're just imagining and feeling the space around you and different body parts. And my brain was used to visualizing my future self or doing some tapping on meridian points, being a bit more active. And just in general life, I previously struggled with a lot of control issues and just wanting to know what's going on, very organized, didn't like surprises. And I'm starting to let go of that and just embrace the unknown because all the best things that have ever happened to me have come from not me planning it. My health crisis, for example, that was definitely not planned and I hated it in the moment, but it's led me to where I am today with my career and putting me on my path in life. Even relationships, romantic friendships, they've just come into my life without real effort from me. And even the house, when I got my house in 2023, I thought I wanted to live somewhere else and was set and adamant on moving a little bit further away. And then this house came up and it was just so easy and it just felt so right, but it wasn't something that I consciously had in mind. It was a bit more of a surprise and a bit more of an unknown. Just reading through my notes, there's so much to cover. And we'll talk about more of this in the next episode with meditation. But our brain is always either in the past, he calls it the familiar past, or in the predictable future. And that future is based on the past conditioning. It's projecting what has happened to us before, and the way that we see the world is based on our unique filters and our perceptions and our beliefs. So if we just keep doing the same thing, our future is going to look very similar. We need to do something different in our lives in order to have a different reality. And there's not a lot of time that we're spending in the present moment. And this is when we can really tap into the energetic field, and he talked about the fifth dimension, which is basically the energetic field, and this is where a lot of the magic happens. But yeah, we'll save that for the next episode. I just want to check, are you addressing the healing foundations? Not sure what I mean. Well, these are the important factors that I believe that you need to address in order to be in optimal health and overcome your stubborn health issues and symptoms, whether that's chronic digestive issues, acne, hair loss, period problems, weight gain, anxiety, fatigue. I could go on. Because I want as many of you as possible to have this life-changing information, I've bundled together 6 of my juiciest and info-packed masterclasses priced at just £111. Not only are you getting these recordings, which are between 60 and 90 minutes long each, on the following subjects: the power of the subconscious mind, stress, trauma, and the nervous system, supporting your female menstrual cycle, mastering your metabolism, optimizing sleep, gut health and detox. You're also going to receive my healthy groceries shopping list and my favorite non-toxic products guide, which are both usually reserved for my one-to-one clients. Whether you're brand new to the holistic healing world or you've been trying to work on things for a while but feel stuck, I can guarantee there's something within this content that will help you to understand your next steps and what you're missing. Sometimes it's something so foundational that's being overlooked. Get instant access to the Foundations bundle today for just £111 by clicking the link in the episode show notes, and I can't wait to hear about what you've learned. Grab your pen and paper to make notes and get started today. Another key thing was that we can't create something in life that we feel separate from. And if you, let's say you're manifesting something, when you constantly focus on not having it, or you're thinking, where is it? Why is it not here yet? You are reaffirming that you don't still yet have it. If you're manifesting clear skin or your dream relationship or the promotion, if you had it, you wouldn't be worrying about it. So we want to get into the habit now of accepting that it's done. We put in the request to the universe. We trust that what we're seeing right now in the 3D is actually a delayed response. And it is based on our previous actions and thoughts and beliefs. So it takes time for that to update. It's like going to the movie and what's projected onto the screen is, it might have been in production a few months ago. And if we send off that tape to make some edits and make some changes, it's going to take a few weeks for it to be edited and then arrive back to the cinema, put into the projector, and then showed on the screen. It's the same with our life. So with health, if you can get to the point internally that you believe that your body is capable of healing and it's going to heal, and you have no doubts, and you look for evidence, you look for inspirational stories of other people who have been able to heal, you know that the body is a self-healing machine. And even if you're still symptomatic, you can't focus on that. You still just have to be in the energy of, what I'm still seeing is a delayed response, and it just needs some time to update. And that might take a few weeks, it might take a few months. Actually, the faster that you let go and detach, the quicker, ironically, that's going to come. But if you're manifesting a car, if you had the car on the driveway, you wouldn't be thinking about it all the time. It's just yours, it's just done. So we really want to get into that energy. Some people might call that delusion, but Delulu is the Solulu, as they say. When it comes to healing, I'll focus on this mainly because I know a lot of people are listening to this episode and follow my work and work with me for health stuff, but it can be applied to anything that you're wanting to change in your life. When you're doing the work, when you're eating healthy, when you're taking your supplements, when you're doing your meditations and your mindset work, he says, do the work not to heal, but to change. If you want a different reality, you need to change your inside. He says your personal reality is based on your personality, your thoughts, actions, and feelings every single day. So if you're every single day thinking, I'm doing this because I want to heal, I want to heal, I want to heal, that is reaffirming that you're not yet healed. Whereas if you focus on, I'm doing this as my higher self, I'm changing who I am, I'm becoming a new person, the healing will come then as a side benefit. You no longer can resonate with that version of you that has a condition or a disease state, because as long as you hold on to that identity, that is going to be who you are. You actually need to let go of that diagnosis and that condition to become a new person. The traditional way that we go about it, even in the work that I've done up until recently, has been matter trying to change matter. So physical trying to change physical. And that is the Newtonian way of science. Whereas he says that that takes a lot of time, and that takes a lot more effort than if you focus on the energy side of things. And again, next episode is going to be about meditation and the wave versus the particle theory, the observer effect, all of that cool stuff, because I'm obsessed. But we want to focus less on, I need to do this in order to do this, and instead focusing on who you need to be instead, and the energy and the frequency that you put out. Your thoughts are the language of your brain. Feelings are the language of your body. How you think and feel determine your life. If you keep thinking the same thoughts, because these are based on your past memories and the life that you've lived so far, the way that you see the world, you are going to create the same energetic field and reality. Mind blowing. Another way that we can speed up our manifestation and change things faster, when I said getting into that feeling and that belief of it's already done, it's inevitable, a really key thing that you can do is being grateful for that thing before you even have it. Because gratitude indicates and signals that you've already received it. So if you can be grateful for your health and your clear skin and your good gut health and your energy and your pregnancy and your healing before you actually see it, you're in energetic alignment with that then. And you've told your brain, I've already got it, and then it just takes time for the actual 3D to catch up to that inner shift. Visualization is one of my favorite tools, and Dr. Joe is a big fan. He talks about mind movies, which is a video version of a vision board, pretty much. You can create them on Canva. I've yet to do mine, but I have my vision board up on my wall at the moment. But he talks about how seeing the visuals and having that become familiar when you see the same things over and over again, your brain, the reticular activating system part of the brain, starts to look for evidence, and it's crazy scary how a lot of the images that I've had on my vision boards, digital ones, real ones, have come true. I've heard of people getting the exact villa in Bali that they've had on the vision board, going to the exact place on holiday that they didn't even know where it was, and then they took a photograph and realized, oh my God, I went to that exact place in Italy or Spain. And then on top of that, when you add music and you really take time to sit and look through your Pinterest board, look at your vision board, watch your mind movie, and bring up those feelings of gratitude, the main one, because it's like, thank you, I've already got that, it's already happening. Your brain doesn't know the difference between real and something that's vividly imagined. And the feeling is the most important thing. I know some people struggle to visualize, but if you can get to that state of feeling, how will that make you feel? Will that new relationship make you feel secure and loved and happy and at peace? Will that health make you feel free? Does it make you feel excited and like you have this new lease of life again? If you can every day feel into those emotions now, the thought is what sends the signal out to the universe. I want this. The feeling is what draws it in to the body. So when you can make your inner experience more real than the external experience. He said instant healing can happen. He has some people in meditation start off in a wheelchair, by the end of it, literally walking. Some people it takes longer, some people it can be instantaneous. These miraculous healing stories, spontaneous healing can happen, and it's absolutely possible. But you don't want to go in there expecting it, hoping for it, getting frustrated if you don't see something right away. It really is all about your faith. Change your inner world, change your outer world. Okay, last few things now. He talked about the healing powers of this work, both the meditation, getting in the right frequency, working on your inner beliefs. And he owns one of, I think, the biggest meditation research center in the world. They test everything: blood, sweat, tears, even breast milk. And around the time of COVID, he studied some advanced meditators and he saw that when they were injected with a COVID-like virus, it actually didn't, it wasn't allowed into the cell because their immune system was so strong. And they actually were making a special protein called serpin A5 that stopped the spike receptors on the outside of the virus from being removed so it couldn't get into the cell. If you've heard of Wim Hof, he has done similar things as well, where he uses the power of his mind and his breath and nervous system regulation to stop these bacteria that injected into him, which usually cause a very bad illness, and they're not affected at all. They tested cancer cells in advanced meditators, and about 70% of the energy was removed from the mitochondria, the energy producers, the powerhouses of the cancer cells, so they were weaker. 84% of advanced meditators had information in the blood that protected them against cancer. And the one of the main things that's always fascinated me is the placebo effect or the nocebo effect. And this does tie into it because it's whether you believe you're susceptible to certain diseases, whether you believe that you're always going to struggle, you're this delicate, sensitive flower in the world who can't tolerate a normal life, that is going to be the case for you. We forget that we're creators, we are so unconscious and distracted all the time, we are victim to our environment, and you just need to make a choice to change. Even if you blame your parents or past. So I've had a lot of trauma, or my mum and dad didn't raise me with the right attachment style, or we were raised on a really bad diet and I had so many antibiotics and I lived in a moldy house growing up. When you're blaming the past, it can be so hard to change because we he said you can't blame the planets, you can't blame past life circumstances. The body has been conditioned to be the anxious mind. So it's really just more excuses. And I am a big fan of astrology, human design. I believe in past lives, but some of it can be a bit of an excuse or it just reaffirms what we believe. So if we have tech issues or we have a breakup during Mercury retrograde, it's nothing to do with us. It's all of the planets. But I think we are more powerful than that. So we do have a lot of power and influence over our life. The body is massively influenced by the mind. If you think of all hormones and how the heart pumps and the digestion moves through and chemicals are released, it's all stemming from the brain, but the subconscious mind is about 95% of it and is more in the body, whereas the conscious mind is in the brain and that only represents 5%. There's times where, imagine if you had chronic fatigue and you were really in bed, exhausted, and then your child rings you, I have broken down at the side of the road. It's a really dangerous road and I need you to come and get me. Even if you've been not able to get out of bed all day, I can guarantee you're going to find a way to get to them. Or these superhero stories where a car falls on a child and the mother lifts it up. She lifts a car up. And she might never exercise. She might be a little like weakling day to day, but that sheer strength and capability of the body really shows through during times like that. And there's these people in certain parts of the US. I've seen this before at the Bruce Lipton talk that I went to last year, but they are very, very religious and they believe the power of Christ protects them from anything. And they prove that by drinking snake poison. The smallest little amount should technically kill them, and they are drinking glasses full of it and they don't die because they believe so strongly that they are safe and protected. How insane is that? When it comes to these placebo effects, these are ran side by side from any pharmaceutical that's created because they have to compare it to a fake pill, sugar pill, saline, just salt water. And a lot of the time, the placebo either outperforms the drug or it's on par with. And we don't hear about that because you can't patent and make money off a placebo and they don't want you to know. So they'll repeat the test over and over again until they find evidence that confirms and promotes the drug. But there's certain things within the placebo effect that make it even more likely to happen. So it's them believing that something good is going to happen from taking a medication or doing a certain activity. The color of the medication can change it. Blue has been shown to be the most effective color for a pill, so they'll just color it blue. If the name is complicated and hard to pronounce, if the name rhymes with what it does, let's say Rogaine, the hair growth, I think it's a shampoo or formula, it's Rogaine is similar to regain. So you just think, oh, it must be doing what it's meant to because the name is very similar, but there's so much marketing and work that goes into this because it is a huge money-making industry. If you trust the practitioner and the doctor who is prescribing it, more likely to get results. If the doctor is enthusiastic, if you see reviews, they then take the medication and they convince themselves that they're seeing results. There's even studies where they know that they're taking a placebo and they still get results. And then it becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy and they become dependent on it. And even if it is a little tiny sugar pill that isn't doing anything at all, they are creating this pharmaceutical cocktail of chemicals and drugs that is healing their body, but that is coming from the mind, not the pill. 8 out of 10 people get results with placebo, and that's because it gives them a vision of the future. He even had me questioning what I say to myself. He was sharing common limiting beliefs. And I even find myself saying, I need 8 hours of sleep a night to feel good. But I am limiting myself by saying that and setting myself up for failure in the future when I have kids and maybe I'm getting 6 hours a night. My body and my brain isn't going to be working as well because I have created this random fact and belief that I only do okay when I get 8+ hours of sleep. But am I just limiting myself? Has it also just become a self-fulfilling prophecy over the years? And then some other common limiting beliefs that I see with my clients. I'm just like my parents. I'm sick. I'm an anxious person. My pain is normal and will never fully go away. And he says, belief is like pregnancy. Either you are or you're not. So I changed. I'm working on my belief from I need 8+ hours of sleep to be okay to the quality of the sleep is more important than the duration, and my body can still function well with less sleep. So I have still been integrating, embodying the lessons that I've learned so far, and there's honestly so much more that I could cover, but I just want you to know the power of your mind. And I did not think a few years ago that I would be talking about some of this stuff. It's cool to see though that I always had this little interest in things like the placebo. I read a book years ago about the placebo effect. I think it's called Mind Over Medicine. It's one of the first health books that I read. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. And then got really fixated on the food, the blood sugar, the toxins. And that's me focusing on matter trying to change matter. And that can take time because it's still in that Newtonian world of physical things and objects and time. And we want to move away to the quantum field, the quantum realm, the fifth dimension, which is all about energy, frequency, light, sound. And that's what we're going to get into on the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this. I know it was a bit random and I'm just I will be doing more episodes on this, don't worry. And I hope you enjoyed. So don't forget to check out part 2 of this episode next week and more of the how-tos. And I will see you then.